Today we're making new friends. We're building a community, and we're still doing all the things we love. We're getting the most out of every day. One day we'll rest, but not today.
Good morning and welcome to the Nine Bowling Club in Lower Hutt for day 2 of the Bowls3Five Interclub finals, where 10 clubs from around the country are vying for 2 places in the Bowls3Five competition on Sky Sport later in the year. We had 4 rounds of play yesterday, and this is how the standings are after those 4 rounds of play, where we found out that there are now 9 teams in the running. Out of contention now, but other than that, we have in Section 1, Nelson Bowling Club have qualified, where Hastings, Royal Oak Rockets, Tylee and Takapuna all in the running for that second semi-final berth, while in Section 2, the New Zealand Parajacks have secured a place in the final for Auckland Bowling Club, Henuera and also New Plymouth. Auckland still in the running for that place. In round 5 today, Tylee and Takapuna playing in Section 1, Royal Oak playing Hastings and the bye for Nelson, and in Section 2 it's the Parajacks taking on Auckland in the top of the table match, and Henuera up against New Plymouth, Timaru with the bye. And first up for you this morning here at Nine Bowling Club in our live game, it is the Royal Oak Rockets up against the Hastings Hornets, Philly Akarudu, David Akarudu and Tio Turua up against Dean Drummond, Alex Jones and Pam Rowlands. I'm Brenton Vinisroy, alongside me in commentary is Kevin Hickland.
So play about to get underway here on the second and final day of the Bowls3Five Interclub finals here at the Nine Complex. And we've got a beautiful, not that it matters because we're inside of course, but beautiful outside, lovely sunny morning, and we're in for a full day of course. We'll bring you this last round of section play, and then we'll be live with you for the semi-final and finals action once we know of course who are those finalists. So as Brendan said in his introduction, we're featuring the Royal Oak Rockets up against the Hastings Hornets, and this is a must-win game for both of these sides to endeavour to get their way through to the semi-finals later on this morning.
Well, it's quite an incredible situation we have, don't we, Kevin? With Nelson Bowling Club, who have the bye in the final round, they are secure in the semi-finals, but the other 4 sides in this section are still all in the running. Hastings know if they win, they're in. But if they lose, they are very much vulnerable and likely to be surpassed by either the Rockets or Takapuna, and Tylee, the winner of that game. They are playing on one of the other rinks here at Nine. So we'll try and keep you up to date with that other game as well as the other 2 games in Section 2, which is also taking place. But we're straight into action. Philly Akarudu on the mat with her second, the lead for Royal Oak.
And it started off very well, has Philly. Just you'll see that second bowl just drawing low of the jack and talking to the players just prior to them commencing this first end. The green, the rink that they're playing on is running slightly freer than what it was yesterday afternoon. We did see yesterday afternoon when the sun went down there in the early evening that it did slow up very, very noticeably, and we saw definitely a change of pace. So I'm picking we're going to see a consistent pace today around that 14-15 second speed, as we see now David Akaruru, the number 2 for the Royal Oak side. Very colourful and enjoyable team is the Royal Oak side, and the Hornets, Hastings Hornets, skipped by Dean Drummond, very, very impressive player on carpet. Plays in the PBA, and of course played for the North Island, and has been a very, very formidable player, age group player in New Zealand. And last weekend, in fact, in the eliminations, or first week of the PBA eliminations, had a very, very good weekend on the carpet in Hastings. So a very, very proficient player on the carpet, and a very strong and capable skip. Semi-finalist, in fact, here on the grass out here in the National Fours a couple of years back. So Dean Drummond, very, very good skip. And of course the Hastings side have won their way through the elimination process from the various clubs around the region in the Hawke's Bay, Wairarapa region, and have won their way through here to the finals. We see this second bowl now on the first end of David Akaruru's. Ruru just pulling up short, but definitely holding the bowl of Philly, their lead, definitely the shot bowl.
An incredible thing for Hastings yesterday, Kevin, is that all 3 of their games went to tiebreaker ends. So they had the first round bye, then in round 2 they beat Takapuna on a tiebreaker end. Round 3 they had a tiebreaker end win over Tylee, and then in round 4 last night losing a tiebreaker into Nelson, and that secured Nelson a place in the semi-finals. If it had gone the other way, Hastings would have already been secured in the semi-finals, and Nelson would be very much sweating on this morning's result. So it just shows how cutthroat this competition can be.
Certainly is, and we saw Alex Jones, number 2 for Hawke's Bay, with his second ball for the Hastings side. He's drawn the shot just high the jack. You'll see it just sitting on that inner ring outside the yellow jack. And the Hastings side, they defeated Gisborne East Coast, and then they defeated Lansdowne of the Wairarapa to win their way through into the playoffs here. And of course, Royal Oak there, in virtue of
brilliant bowl by Teo Tudor, getting rid of the Alex Jones bowl, playing with that weight, sitting on that, so changing the picture once more, now in the favour of the Rockets.
Dean Drummond on the forehand, trying to replace that bowl of Alex Jones. That Teo Tudor dislodged. Great weight here by Dean Drummond, but just not quite the line, but certainly jack level weight. Tudor
is going to change hands, come on the backhand, play this time for the draw, try and add to the count around the other side of the head. Looks narrow though.
It will be narrow and
short too.
Yeah, lacked a metre of weight, so here for Dean Drummond, he got his weight right, just needs to correct his green slightly and just let that bowl draw towards the jack. So he's Drummond now on the first end of 5.
Just needs to make a slight adjustment from his first. As Kevin said, the weight was good first time round, but this time he's come under the head. He's going to run into the Teo Tudor bowl. So just looking over, 1 taken out, 2 taken out. So 2 for the Rockets. Great bowl from Teo Tudor with his first to get rid of the Alex Jones bowl for Hastings, and it's Royal Oak who are first on the board in this 5th round game in Section 1. First game of Day 2 of the Bowls3Five Interclub Finals, and it's Royal Oak 2 leading Hastings 0 after first of 5 ends first set, and Philly Akaruru straight away taking the mat all the way up, and the jack spotted at the 2 metre mark. So a longer length end, and we found, especially late yesterday, Kevin, playing to this depth was very difficult.
Very challenging indeed. That was very evident, and you know, for the viewers there, you'll see the 3 distinctive circles there on the green, and those are the jack locations of where you can, the side who won the previous end, where they can elect to place the jack, and you'll see this particular end, it's right at the deepest and longest length, and a good opening bowl coming here from Pam Rowlands, just draws in behind the jack, goes past at the ring, but sitting right on the centre line, about a half a metre. It's a good opening bowl on this full length. And the players as well, Brendan, were pretty complimentary towards this particular TV rink. That they're pretty happy with this particular rink. They think it runs free, and it's a good rink to play all the shots on.
Yeah, it's the reason why it was chosen for our coverage throughout the 2 days of competition here at 9i, because previously, last year for the Bowls3Five Interclub Finals, we were stationed on the other side.
Absolutely.
The sunny side.
The sunny side, that's correct.
Of 9i Bowling Club.
So, Pam Rowlands just trying to improve on her first bowl. As it comes towards the end of the rink now. Going to sit right underneath the number. It'll definitely be the deepest bowl on the rink. And the greenkeeper from Royal Oak, David Akaruru, very competitive player with the Royal Oak Rockets shirt on.
I believe he's represented Cook Islands.
He has.
At Commonwealth Games as well, David Akaruru. So he's got that top level experience, valuable for a side like Royal Oak as they try and reclaim their place in Bowls3Five on Sky Sport. Of course, they've been there for the first 3 seasons, Royal Oak. Relegated last year, so trying to play their way back in and they have to beat Hastings here to give themselves a chance of getting a top 2 finish in this section, behind Nelson, who have already qualified.
And you'll see Alex Jones there with his first bowl. Has drawn the shot, just sitting on the outer ring. David Akaruru endeavouring just to improve his weight slightly. Just looks to be running towards the jack, on the outside of the jack, and will still remain as Alex Jones holding the shot. He'll follow that first bowl of his on the forehand. So some of these sides, Brenton, have in hope or optimism, have already named their sides. The Hastings Hornets, the Tyree, they've all got Tyree Tigers, haven't they? So they've named themselves.
Yeah, they're ready to go if they do secure a place in Bowls3Five on Sky Sport, that's for sure.
And one of the things we've now seen as well, especially with Bowls3Five in this event, with the number of now covered, carpeted complexes around the country, we are, so like Hastings as an example, Dunedin have got them, so there's more and more now in Invercargill, Taranaki at Paratutu, so there's Pukekohe, of course, in the counties region. So we're now seeing a lot more play on the carpet than what we were, say, 5-10 years ago. So it does lend itself now to an even spread of around the country.
Yeah, do you think that's one of the reasons why Hastings have got to the stage and right in contention for semi-finals? Do you think they benefit from having played more regularly on carpet?
Well, absolutely, and you know, Dean Drummond, as I say, the skip, is a bit of a carpet. He's an expert on the carpet, and I'm not quite sure about Alex Jones and Pam Rowlands, but you're playing on a regular basis, so it certainly does make a big difference. Whereas that was not the case of years gone by. As we see the first bowl of Tio Tururu goes by, and Dean Drummond, he's going to be short, so it will still leave the one shot at this point in time on end 2 to Hastings. Tio will be endeavouring to improve on his line here on the forehand.
It could be well more than that when you think about it. All these
could well be.
It could be 3 they're holding, in fact, Hastings.
You're
And
right,
Tio
Brenton,
Tururu is not going to be changing the situation there. With that, 2 disappointing bowls from the Rocket skip, so big opening here for Dean Drummond. Looks like the Hornets are holding 3. Chance to make it 4 if he can draw anywhere near the target circle. Looks like a decent line.
How far is it going to come
Going to
back?
hold up. No, it's not going to hold up, so that's not going to change the situation. But 1, 2, 3 taken away. So 3 for Hastings.
And then
Now they'll measure for the 4th, so they'll go up to this blue bowl, which is just pretty much in line with the jack, and then Alex Jones will also go up to the bowl, which is just right of the pitcher. I think it was one of one of his bowls perhaps.
and that's the front bowl of Dean Drummond's. That
3 signalled by David Akaruru. So great end for Hastings, bouncing straight back after dropping a 2 on the first. They score a 3 on the second, and it's the Hornets who are now leading the Rockets 3-2 after 2 ends of 5. First set in this round 5 matchup to decide our second semi-finalist out of Section 1. Nelson, if you're just joining us, they are already secured a place in the semi-finals. If Hastings win, they will join them in the Final 4. If the Rockets win, then, well, it will all be coming down to set differential between them, Hastings, and the winner of Takapuna Tairi, which is taking place just a couple of rinks down the green here at 9-9.
And in regard to those sets, Brendan, it's all pretty tight all around. So to try and make any sort of bold prediction looking at the tightness of those sets, really, it's anybody's really, isn't it?
Hastings, Takapuna and Tairi all level. So 0 is their set differential, Rockets -1. So if the Rockets win, obviously that will improve, especially if they win a straight sets. That makes it +1 set differential. That would actually rule out Hastings because they'd go to -2. And so then it'd be about what happened in the Takapuna Tairi game. And if would need to be straight sets for either of those teams to stay ahead of the Rockets.
And
so there's so many permutations that need to play out.
And it's also interesting yesterday as well that the number of games that we saw a team would win the first set and then a change in the second set. We saw a number of tiebreaker games yesterday. 2 good opening bowls here from Pam Rowlands on this, the second end. You can see there just sitting inside that inner circle. 2 very good bowls to open on the third end. And Philly Akaruru, as we know, very competent player in the Auckland area, and of course played in the Royal Oak Rockets last year, and is on a better line here, certainly on a better line to draw to the shot bowl. Well played, going to sit on the inside of the bowl. Great second bowl there from the Royal Oak Rockets lead.
That's what we come to expect from Philly Akaruru. Very consistent draw player off the front for the Rockets, having seen her in Bowls3Five on Sky Sport over the past couple of seasons. Before that, she was their #1 fan. She's always had the face painting on, flower in the hair.
Certainly was. And there's a good attempt
character
here from Alex Jones, just going to sit outside that jack level bowl of the Royal Oak Rockets, the lead Philly Akaruru's bowl. So change of hand here for brother Dave to get another bowl on the head, on the opposite side of the head.
And from what I did see of Hastings yesterday, and obviously we didn't broadcast any of the games for the Hornets yesterday, but after completing our commentary...
Great bowl here from David Akaruru, sitting literally right on the jack now. Dean Drummond saying to his #2, Alex Jones, you can give me another yard of weight and just tighten that line up in between those 2 Royal Oak bowls and try and get some movement down to the jack. Certainly does leave that opportunity, but 2 very, very good shots there, played by the Royal Oak Rockets.
Yes, what I saw of Alex Jones yesterday is very impressive. Was quite consistent on the draw. Unfortunately, this isn't going to be the case this time. He probably needed a bit of extra weight. Didn't quite get the line right. And it's pretty much finished jack level, but as Kevin was mentioned, Dean Drummond was asking for a bit more of a attacking shot there.
It's interesting though, we've got 6 bowls sitting there now, and now about to be 7, literally all sitting inside the the circle there on the green, which is saying that we've got 7 bowls.
Yeah, just the first bowl from Philly Akaruru, the odd one out, very consistent. It's what you like to see.
Well, which you do see more on carpet, because it does allow itself to get that really good draw consistency on carpet. And as we said before, the number of players now who spend quite a bit of the winter months now playing on carpet, and of course during the summer months as well playing on carpet, has seen a significant improvement in the ability of our players now on playing on the carpet surfaces. Dean Drummond, this is on this line as it breaks its way down in towards the head. It just needs to come back, gets a feather, and will still be 2 down. Sits literally jack level.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Got a nice feather off one of the Alex Jones bowls, but only went into the Philly Akaruru bowl. So Akaruru siblings holding shots 1 and 2 for the Rockets. Those 2 blue bowls inside that inner circle. As Philly Akaruru is getting interested here.
It's a great attempt here. This is a superb bowl from Teo Teruru. That's sitting. I don't think it would have counted, just looking at
almost, isn't it? It's very close with that Pam Rowlands bowl.
Just looking at that circle there.
Looks like it's just outside, isn't it, where the Rowlands bowl is right on that circle. Yeah, Dean Drummond, 12 centre titles, right-handed, and plays with the Aero Quantums.
And he now will just try and adjust that line slightly. And he's certainly got more weight, trying to get down into that V, into that port to make contact to get to the counting bowls. Moves the jack out to right out to the side. You can see it sitting literally on the lip of the rink. And
I think it's just out, so unfortunate for him. It's going to be placed right back there, but it is going to be 1, 2. The Hastings Hornets signalled, yes, you can see there. I think that black and white bowl of Dean Drummond is going to be the counter, according to Alex Jones anyway.
Great shot there from Drummond to get that result. He was definitely 2 down, even perhaps 3, and converted that for shot. And Teo Tururu will endeavour to play with weight.
Plays with the Henselite Teo Tururu. And playing with weight, attacking the head. Doesn't find the target though, finds the corridor on the left-hand side. So one more for Hastings. So from 2, potentially 3 down on the head, the Hornets pick up the shot through their skip Dean Drummond. And it's now Hastings leading Royal Oak 4-2. And we've played 3 of the 5 ends. First set, 5th and final round action of the Bowls3Five Interclub finals. As Pam Rowland has brought the mat up to the top spot, where seems like both teams quite happy with this length, with the mat all the way up and the jack back at the 2 metre mark, the deepest possible position.
I'm just going to remark, Brendan, that both sides playing the same length, going up that way. So the first bolt of Pam Rowlands, you'll see it just going up towards outside the ring, but down towards, you'll see it sitting underneath the number 8.
Yeah, still in play. Just we pan down. There you go. There's that bowl. So it's about a foot in from the ditch. Filiakaruru intently watching this one down the green. How's this going to hold up? It's not going to. It's going to find a pretty similar home to that of Pam Rowlands, I think. Not quite as deep. Perfect line.
Absolutely
just need to pull
perfect.
back the weight by about a metre. These are the Henselite Dreamlines. Pam Rowlands, 3 centre titles in Hawke's Bay. Playing on the backhand. Just wanting this to slow down Dean Drummond as well. It's not going to. And that's going to find a home right alongside her other bowl, just below that at the bottom of the screen.
We saw yesterday, Brendan, how important the whole head starts. If the lead can get there, one of those bowls literally right on top of the jack, it just gives you the better control going forward for the remaining bowls. It's one of those games, as we spoke about yesterday, and Val McAdown was here, is you can't get away to a slow start and you can't drop big numbers. Because you'll pay very, very quickly for them. And as it turned out, the game where we featured New Plymouth yesterday, that's exactly what happened in the first set that they played. So it's about, if you can get that early bowls, get in around the jack, it certainly gives you a good start. And this very quick playing, well, not quick surface, but it's a very quick format, the Bowls3Five, 2 bowl triples. In this bowl of Alec Jones.
Yeah, he doesn't like this one, you can tell.
Badly under the line, underweighted.
Yeah, wasn't what he was after. So this set's still very much up for grabs here. A very important end, you'd think, and whoever wins this, if Royal Oak do, they're still in the set. If Hastings do, maybe they take a big step to winning the first set. So
well, there's the shot going in now for sure.
Yeah, so they're holding 3 Royal Oak at the moment, but certainly expect that Alex Jones, and also with 2 to come from Dean Drummond, them to be able to get 1 at least inside the target circle. Alex Jones, who was off with his first, looking to make the adjustment. Looks narrow again.
Certainly is, but need to get a slide to get second shot, or roll into their head.
Yeah, it doesn't get that fortune,
though.
So it should still be 3 that Royal Oak are holding. 2 Filiakaruru bowls past the head, and then the David Akaruru bowl, her brother, just short. Saw the graphic earlier, Filiakaruru already 2 centre titles, still a junior as well. And it just shows how quickly she's taken to the game of bowls, as her brother David is short with his second.
Of course, Royal Oak will be the next one to have the indoor or carpeted surface, joining Newland and Remuera Orewa in North Harbour, and plans afoot in the next 12 months. The Royal Oak will be joining that group to have theirs built as well. So it'll be it'll be well used for sure at Royal Oak. It'll be very popular. So here's Drummond, surprised he's playing on the back end, where he really has to weather the 2 Alex Jones bowls to get through into the circle to draw, and that's where he has to be, inside the circle. And it's breaking down towards the head now, and that's going to be Needs to get past clean, doesn't do so, but would most likely be...
Yeah, he's cut it to one.
Second shot, though, so he would be happy with that result, because as Brenton rightly said, they were looking at 3 down where the Hastings Hornets, on this the 4th end of 5 in the first set. Good bowl coming here, just going to slide on onto the Drummond bowl,
Yeah,
doesn't
just
want
didn't
to
have the weight.
It's lacked a metre of weight.
Yeah, looked like a good line, didn't it, from Teo Turoa? He just disappointed. Opportunity missed to add to the count and really put the pressure on Dean Drummond. Now playing his last of this 4th end. Again, on the backhand side. Got this one a bit wider.
It needs to draw through the port. It needs to get cleanly through
look
the
at that
port.
from Dean
Superb ball
Drummond.
from Drummond.
Brilliant. Made the adjustment. He was a bit narrow with the first and made the slight adjustment with weight as well. Got a little fortuitous rub off one of the short Alex Jones bowls and tracked right to the jack. So from Royal Oak holding shot, Dean Drummond's done it again. Hastings now holding, putting the pressure on Teo Turoa.
Yeah,
come up with
Jack movement here favours Royal Oak, and very close is Turoa. What a magnificent bowl.
What a response. What a
Superb
response.
bowl.
Absolutely inch perfect. And that should be 2 for Royal Oak. So not only got rid of the shot bowl, but turned it into 2 to Teo Turoa. And that means we'll be all tied up between Royal Oak and Hastings.
2 superb bowls from both of the skips with their last bowls there, Brenton. The draw shot of Dean Drummond's drawing through, threading the needle to draw right to the jack, and then that slightly weighted shot from Teo Turoa just to sit on the bowl. Perfect weight, sit through it, and bring the Philly Akaruru bowl into the count as well. And very, very good bowl there from the Royal Oak skip.
The other game in this section, 2 sides very much hoping for a Royal Oak win to give them still a chance of making the semi-finals. That's Tairi and Takapuna. And it is Takapuna after 3 of the 5 ends first set, who are leading Tairi 3-1. And in the other section, Section 2, we have the Parajacks playing Auckland in the top of the table affair. The Parajacks have already qualified. Auckland looking to join the Parajacks in the semi-finals, and they are leading them 5-3. Auckland leading 5-3 after 4 of the 5 ends. And alongside our rank here, it's Henueta and New Plymouth. Henueta needing a Parajacks win, and for them to beat New Plymouth, and at the moment they are leading New Plymouth 6-1 after 4 of 5 ends first set. So that's bringing you up to date with the 3 other games playing alongside now feature match and the 5th and final round between the Royal Oak Rockets and the Hastings Hornets, which is all square, now playing the 5th and final end.
With Pam Rowlands holding the shot just low of the, just in behind the jack. Here's Rowlands again now on her backhand. Philly Akaruru couldn't be disappointed with her turn. There's another good bowl here from Rowlands. Just going to go by though, but it's certainly right on the centre line. And David Akaruru now endeavouring to draw to, well, into the circle in fact, and that would give him the shot. The greenkeeper of Royal Oak, this is on a good line. How fast, how's the weight though? It needs to get back now. It's coming back. Is it going to run far enough? No, it won't.
Not quite. It's hard to exactly tell, but from our viewpoint, you'd favour the Pam Rowlands bowl, which is just in behind the head.
Just looking at that, where they were sitting on the chalk line of the ring, sort of tended to favour. And you can see there the bowl of Pam Rowlands. This bowl of Alex Jones needs to get right inside the circle to count, needs it to be inside that outer ring, and that would literally be jack level and counting.
Yeah, well, the Pam Rowlands bowl looks like it's right on the circle. David Akaruru playing with the Drake's bowls. Left-handed player playing on the forehand, looking to come around or just inside his previous, but it's going to finish just short.
Had to get inside that bowl by a few rolls to get inside to.
It wasn't far away, just needed really half a foot more weight.
Alex Jones really just needing to beat his last bowl, and would certainly with beating that jack level bowl or slightly jack low bowl. And Dean Drummond, he likes the look of this bowl as it breaks in towards the head. Has it got the weight to get inside it clean? No, it doesn't. Needed to get inside his own first bowl, had to get inside the circle, and certainly would have counted 4-all as we played this, the last end of the first set here at the Bowls3Five Interclub finals at 9i.
I noticed that Nelson Triple are out there practicing. So Joe Edwards, Richard Collett, and Val Smith. So they have a bye in this, the 5th and final round, but they've got a semi-final coming up against opponent yet to be decided.
So Tio Tururu endeavouring to get down to the two David Akaruru bowls and get any contact onto those. We'll draw around and we'll draw a shot. He's going to do this. Breaks in towards the head now and sits inside the circle.
Great bowl.
Well
Obviously
played.
this end, it's all up for grabs. Winner takes the first set. Seen Dean Drummond come up with a number of big bowls. This time it's Tio Tururu's turn, just like it was in the previous end.
Well, Dean
But
Drummond,
importantly, Dean Drummond has the last say.
he'll just endeavour to draw inside the Alex Jones bowls. If he can just get a bowl inside that on the draw, Drummond will be close to having the shot. Very smooth delivery. The Hawke's Bay player has played representative play for Hawke's Bay for a long time, and he's inside that line that we spoke about, Brendan. But how's the weight? Has it got enough weight to get all the way?
Oh, really? Just a couple of inches short of grabbing the shot. Not a perfect line. Still would favour the Tio Tururu bowl, just jack level out to the right, the black bowl over the white and black bowl of Dean Drummond, which is just short of the jack.
Only one roll away really was
exactly.
Drummond to get the perfect result.
Not far away at all. He's going to get one final opportunity after this bowl of Tio Tururu's. He'll follow this one down.
The last two ends we've seen superb bowls from the Royal Oak skip where he converted the
This one is not going to change the situation, but he still holds shot, does Tururu. And now he has the deepest bowl as well.
So Dean Drummond knowing that he doesn't have to search for numbers on this particular end just to get the shot, as the one shot's enough to...
Even if he just manages to promote his previous bowl, just get a roll out of it like you said previously, that will grab shot.
One roll on his own
So
bowl.
just really needs to replicate his previous bowl and just a touch, and it is just the smallest amount of extra weight. What can he do here, Dean Drummond?
So on the forehand, it's the Hastings.
For the first set. Don't know if he likes that facial expression. Still watching it though, as are the Rockets. It's going to go outside. Not going to change the situation. So it's Royal Oak who take the first set. So from 4-2 down, the Rockets score 2 and a 1 on the back of their skip, Tio Tururu, to take the first set 5-4. And the Rockets stay alive in this Bowls3Five Interclub finals.
Well played though by the skip. The last two ends, Brendan, he
absolutely
pulled the set home for them, really, didn't he? With both conversions on the fourth and the fifth end.
And just looking alongside us here in the game in Section 2 taking place between Hinueta and New Plymouth. The winner of that one still a chance if the Parajacks beat Auckland in the other match in that section, and Hinueta have taken the first set against New Plymouth.
Of course, remembering that if after the two sets they're a set apiece, we then go into a tie-break end, which we saw a number of yesterday. So even though one loses, even in this case the Hastings Hornets have lost the first set, they were to hold on to the second set and win that, we then go to a tie-break end. So, and
as has been their way, there's probably a very good chance it will be a tiebreaker end, given all three of their games have gone to tiebreaker ends of Hastings.
And it was
sorry, Kevin, it was a drawn first set between the Parajacks and Auckland in the other game in Section 2. So
wow.
Hinueta will like the sound of that, because if Parajacks win, then they've got a very good chance. Hinueta, in fact, you'd think that should do it to surpass Auckland and claim that second place behind the Parajacks in Section 2. We'll see how that one unfolds, and I think they're playing the fifth and final end in the other game in this section between Tylee and Takapuna, who, just like Henuera looking for a Parajacks win, Tidy and Takapuna just both looking for a Royal Oak win here in this game, because if Hastings win, they're in, we know that. If they lose, then it becomes down to the calculator.
So Pam Rowlands with her second bowl. You'll see on the monitor there, on the drawn right in front of the jack. And now with the second bowl is 1.5 meters behind the but right back on the centre line. And as we've seen so often now, Brent, in that bowl that can be drawn just dead in front of the jack really puts the pressure on the opposing players to have to endeavour to draw around that. As we watch David Akaruru, he's going to be under the head on this, the first end, and short, and that straight away we get into a situation really where it's a draw only head now because of the short bowls. There's not much options through the attacking lines to get down there, so for the Hastings Hornets, now's their opportunity to take advantage of that good bowl of Pam Rowlands and literally stack the head, so to speak. And that bowl of Alec Jones is just going by 1 metre and a bit. But in fact, it counts, but there's still plenty of room for the second shot. There's a correction of the line here from David Akaruru. Is it going to get all the way? No, it won't. It was certainly on the line to get to that draw line, but it was missing.
Yeah, disappointing from the front end players for Royal Oak, isn't it? Tio Tutua hasn't got the support from Philly and David Akaruru. You can see 3 of their bowls well short, out of play, and then one bowl of Philly Akaruru's has got past their head, but not the right line. So very little for Tio Tutua, or nothing for him to work with.
And this bowl of Alex Jones is on a different line under the head, but will sit on top of the shot bowl, and that's actually turned out a magnificent bowl, holding at least 2, and doesn't really open the target up any bigger for the...
Oh, you think they're probably holding 4, isn't it?
Absolutely, you are right there, Brendan. Those are the 2 bowls of one of both players.
You'd think, obviously, the quality of Tio Tutua and Dean Drummond for the situation to change, but right now, as the skips make their way to the mat, Hastings in control of the opening end of this second set, holding 4. Tio Tutua looking to change the situation straight away.
On the forehand, drawing down towards, away from the commentary position, but it's going to be under the head. It's a matter where it stops, actually.
Yeah, it gets nothing, so he's playing with that reaching weight, attacking the head, but just missed out on the shot bowl, slid past.
This could be a big number.
Could be. He needs to come up with something special with his last. Tio Tutua. Dean Drummond will have the final say on the end as well.
Doesn't have to draw right on top, but this is a great bowl here. Be
another counter.
It certainly is a counter, and really
has that fatten up the target, though.
I just wonder whether he'll drive the 2 bowls to try and reduce the number, because from the mat he may well be able to see that 2 bowl split. Although there's a lot of bowls in front of the head, and
I think Philly Akaruru there, maybe signalling, gesturing. Yep, have a go. Nothing given away though by David Akaruru, who just allowed Tio Tutua to have a look at it.
Well, we saw John Killen yesterday in the Tyree game, went for the drive against Nelson to get the reduction, and in fact got the jack clean and put it buried it into the ditch.
And his bowl is the deepest bowl as well. So they do own the back of the rink.
It looks as though he's trying to play that backhand. Hard to play the running shot to the jack because of the short bowls. Difficult to get around him. So here is...
You just steer it towards that target. It's been created. Is it going to run into the short bowl of one of his teammates? Yes, it is. It rolls towards the head, so it actually works out okay. Not what he was after, but it has cut it from 5 to 3.
It has, and Drummond now...
He knows if he gets rid of that, it's 6.
He sets it. He'll stay on. I'm sure he'll stay on that draw, and it was to face the bowl out. Going, electing though, doesn't want to touch that bowl. He's happy to hold the 3. And
yeah, interesting, because they could have got a big way to winning this set here if they pick up a 6, and you'd think Dean Drummond would back himself to get rid of that bowl, but going with the more safe option. Happy with the 3 he's got, as Kevin mentioned.
So trying to get to 4. He needs to get past these front bowls. It's on a good line. Needs just to come back a bit now, and will do. Is it going to come all the way inside of the circle to beat the outside bowl? We'll see in but a moment.
Yeah, 4 signal there, the boundary signal by Alex Jones. So great start for Hastings after one end of 5. It's the Hornets who are leading the Rockets 4-0. After dropping the first set, after some good work from Teo Tutua, scrappy start from Royal Oak, start the second set, and Hastings capitalising.
Philly trying to power play.
Power play called by Philly Akaruru.
I was about to say, after dropping the 4, an ideal time to just confirm to meet my David Akaruru. It definitely is the power play. And after dropping the 4, Brendan, to get back on even terms after winning the first set. It's 2 shots really, which Royal Oak now trying to score a 2 on this end, tie things up, and then we go to the third end, all locked up. So the first bowl of Pam Rowland, just in behind the jack. You'll see it there. Got a touch on the jack. Good reply here from Philly. Just going to go by after Pam Rollins. Will see just moved the jack just a few centimetres off the centre line. So Pam Rollins, who drew a touch-up with her first.
Well, it's a great way to start against the power play, isn't it? When Royal Oak's called the power play, Pam Rollins getting a touch-up. First up, Philly Akaruru just going in behind the head, just below the screen, below a picture. And now needing something here, you'd think. Try and capitalise on their power play, get themselves back into this second set.
Equally important, Brendan, from the Hornets' point of view, after scoring the 4, they certainly want to defend the Royal Oak power play.
Absolutely, and that's what I was saying with that Pam Rollins bowl was so good first up.
It's a key to holding strength going through the second set, and fighting to get your way into a power play.
You can see both the Philly Akaruru bowls just in front of the ditch. So they're the 2 back bowls.
Straight away you see now Alex Jones really they're going to play the cover bowl fairly quickly.
Oh, the holding shot, absolutely. Let's get a bowl amongst those 2 Philly Akaruru bowls. Alex Jones, please. That's the message from the skip Dean Drummond. Now try and reach those 2 Akaruru bowls just to try and deny them an opportunity, but it's not what he was after. That's a pretty handy bowl.
Fairly good bowl, all right, just inside there, sitting low of the jack. And of course, David Akaruru would be endeavouring to get down.
He can move the jack back to those bowls of his sister.
How far is this bowl going to come back? It's going to go by, so now it's imperative for the Hastings Hornets. They need to have a bowl which is near, and rightly you see Dean Drummond straight away pointing to Alex Jones. Let's get down to the cover of those 2 Royal Oak bowls. Head's looking pretty good for us.
So Takapuna won the first set against Tyree in the other game in Section 1. We're bringing you a Section 1 round 5 game between the Royal Oak Rockets and the Hastings Hornets. And the other game between the Tyree Tigers and the Takapuna Wave. Takapuna taking the first set. So they need a Rockets win, do those 2 sides. And then whoever wins that is in contention still for the semi-finals.
So this bowl of David Akaruru is going by as well on their power play. Big trouble here on the power play, Brendan, because...
Well, it's again, isn't it? Teo Tutua is changing over and down 4. Well, down 3 this time, but down 4 last time when they changed over. This time down 3 on the head. And at least this time he has got something to work with. He's got bowls past the head, so he's got something to work with. Last time, 3 of the 4 bowls were well short.
Well, the big thing is that even using the power play, if you touch the jack, that's a bonus. You don't want to be hunting for shots, because remember, 1's going to give you 2. and it's really the big thing. Is it's not as they're going to try and hunt numbers. It's to get the shot and double it.
Dean Drummond will be trying to stop Teo Tuilua from doing that. In a good position at the moment. Want to get amongst those back bowls if he can. Hasn't been able to quite reach, but he does have that Alex Jones bowl, which is just in front of the two Philly Akaruru bowls, which are bottom left of screen. Also a David Akaruru bowl, which is bottom right. Now Teo Tuilua with his first, the rocket skip of this second set.
So this is a good weighted bowl. How far is this going to come back? Not going to quite make it. Was on a perfect line.
Yeah, just a bit like what we saw last night, didn't we, as the rink slowed up, that all of a sudden some of these bowls just grind to a halt.
Well, the weight line for Tiro really is that bowl just in behind the head, which is the bowl, the purpley colour of the bowl of Rollins. That's
how's this
look
from
at
Drummond?
This, that's the target area on the draw line for Tiro to look underneath his own
make
bowl.
It 3 again.
Just
on the Rockets power play, the Hastings Hornets holding 3.
He signalled 4 down.
Well, I thought that maybe that Teo Tuilua bowl would have been the 4th shot, but maybe David Akaruru suggesting that white bowl, the deepest white bowl, is the 4th shot, the Alex Jones
Certainly
bowl.
more weight going for the jack.
Attacking this time, I think he's going to come up empty.
Yes.
And he has, so unable to score on their power play. Hastings Hornets come up with a big number, certainly 3. Now, question is whether it's 4. It is 4 again, so back-to-back boundaries for the Hastings Hornets, and importantly for them, it was on the power play for the Royal Oak Rockets. So 8-0, they are in absolute command of the second set, and Royal Oaks used their power play. We look destined to be going to a tiebreaker, especially because Hastings has still got the power play up their sleeve.
I just thought then whether that would be a good opportunity for Hastings to try and to play the power play and really close that score and literally close the Royal Oak Rockets out of the set.
Well, I think it already is, to be honest. I think that is keeping that power play up their sleeve now. If they're keeping it, if the Rockets can score a decent number here, then they'll use their power play, I'd say.
2 fours in a row, we haven't seen that.
No.
Have we? That's it.
Exactly.
First, so,
very impressive. Very impressive, and it was because the front end from Royal Oak didn't get the job done.
Pam Rowlands actually has been very impressive for the Hastings Hornets. She's been Pam's been very consistent in and around that metre area on the draw, and Philly hasn't been able to date to really match that. And so to me, Pam Rowlands has set the heads up very well for the Hastings combination. And in these short end, 5-end games, it makes a significant difference.
In the other section, I'll let you know that Henuera took the first set against New Plymouth, and it was a drawn first set between the Parajacks and Auckland, that being section 2 of the Bowls3Five Interclub finals. Well, now after 2 ends in the Parajacks-Auckland game, it's the Parajacks leading 3-0. Reminding you the Parajacks have already qualified for the semi-finals. Auckland, if they win that contest, they will join them in the semi-finals. And Henuera leading 3-0 after 3 ends of 5 second set, having won the first set against New Plymouth. Henuera needing the Parajacks to beat Auckland and then get the job done, and then they could potentially jump ahead of Auckland and into that top 4.
Oh, we just saw Philly Akaruru with his second bolt actually move the Pam Rowlands bolt closer towards the jack. So early on in this head, and short bowls in this format, Brenton, as you'd have known, and the TV one as well, once you start playing short bowls, you're in trouble. And look, we see now Alex Jones, who's drawn literally just slightly over the jack and right inside that inner circle, and sets the head up very well, especially when you're leading 8-zip. But of course, if you hold on to this set, you've got to win one more end after that. That's the... So what we could see for Hastings is their place in the semi-finals will come down to one end.
Yeah, exactly right. Tiebreaker ends have been their way.
And could well be heading there again.
Yeah, could be heading there once more. Just looking at Royal Oak and how they've gone through competition. They have yet to play a tiebreaker end. Of course, we saw them in round 4 action last night, losing to Takapuna.
This is getting very well set up now for the Hawke's Bay, the Hastings Hornets. You can see the 4 bowls literally all in around that inner circle, and Royal Oak at this point in time unfortunately haven't got a bowl over the head, so their opportunity to score any number is very, very difficult. A good attempt here from David Akaruru, but just ran lower the jack, so you know, Hastings in a pretty strong position. Takapuna support crew all here.
Well, there's Bowls New Zealand CEO Mark Cameron, bottom left of screen as well, watching on. Grant Nisbet.
It is.
The voice of rugby in this country. Great to see Nisbo here. Obviously a very keen bowler himself.
Very keen bowler. And John Macbeth, of course, both. And of course, Grant Nisbet be here supporting Simon Poppleton, because they've, of course, have played together in national championships together on a couple of occasions.
Come on, Dino.
So Drummond, and he's certainly putting the pressure on. Definitely holding 2 is the Hastings Hornet, as they lead 8-0 as we play the 3rd of 5 ends. Teo Tururu needs to be outside the bowl, turns the bowl over.
Gets that help. Oh, that's going to be close for shot now. If it had rolled one more, it would have secured the shot.
It's close. Mind you, Brendan, for Dean Drummond, any touch on the jack here on the, through that port, with you can see there's the 3 bowls, in fact, of the Hastings Hornets sitting in behind the head.
Dean Drummond just waiting for instructions from Alex Jones, trying to get a clear picture in his mind what the situation is down at the head. Now playing his last of this, the 3rd end of 5, second set. It's a measure for shot, looks like, perhaps still holding Hastings.
Oh, look at this bowl, get your touch on the bowl.
Oh, look at that, gets rid of
himself.
The only bowl in the area really from Royal Oak. That was the last bowl from Teo Turua that he promoted, one of the short bowls of the Rockets. Now it's 3 that the Hornets are holding, and Teo Turua having to come up with something special here to keep the Rockets in the second set.
Very well weighted bowl from Dean Drummond as it was.
Needs some help again.
And gets some.
Gets it.
And gets some.
Doesn't fall in. I think that Hastings has still picked up the shot. So twice his bowls from Teo Turua. He almost manages to steal it. It's not to be. Power play, I think, has been called by Hastings. But it's 9-0. The Hornets now leading the Rockets after 3 of 5 ends, second set. And they can really wrap up this first set here with their power play. But it's a mountain to climb for Royal Oak.
Certainly is. 3 ends of 5 gone, and that tie break is certainly looking very, very much on the cards.
The other game in this section, it looks like it's all square at 2 apiece after 2 of 5 ends between Tylee and Takapuna in the second set. That's after it was Takapuna who took the first set. In the other section, you got the Parajacks, who are leading 5-0 after 3 of 5 ends second set after a drawn first set. So the Parajacks look like they might be on course to go 4 from 4 in section play. Will be the only team to do that. Already secured, of course, in the semi-finals, but I think that would certainly dent Auckland's hopes.
And open the door for Hinuera.
Yeah, it would indeed, because Hinuera have won the first set against New Plymouth, and they're leading 3-0 after 4 ends. Well, that can't be right. Can't be 3-0 after 4, unless there was maybe a dead end. Oh, it could be the only potential. Maybe it was. Because it definitely was 3-0 after 3 ends, now 3-0 after 4 ends. Hinuera leading New Plymouth, second set after winning the first. So, yes, if the Parajacks hold on against Auckland and Henuera hold on here, Henuera will be taking second place in Section 2 behind the Parajacks.
Here we see again Brenton Pam Rowland starting the head off for the Hastings Hornets side. Draws right on top of the jack. Good response here though from David Akaruru. It's still one shot, of course, to the Hastings Hornets, as indicated by Dean Drummond. And Pam Rowlands has been very impressive in getting the head, a good setup for the head for the Hastings Hornets side. And now Alex Jones will be endeavouring on his forehand to come down to sit on the bowl, the last bowl of David Akaruru's. It's 9-0 after 3 of the 5 ends that Hastings lead after Royal Oak won the first set by 5 shots to 4. Was that right, the first set?
Yeah, 5-4. Yeah, because Hastings were up 4-2 with 2 ends to play, and then Teo Tuilua played a couple of great bowls on the last 2 ends to grab the first set, but it has been all Hastings in this second set. Pam Rowlands, Alex Jones setting it up, and Dean Drummond has been converting. Teo Tuilua hasn't been able to get out of a bit of trouble that his front-end players have got Royal Oak in.
Dean Drummond's got the luxury here where the head's getting a bit tangled up. He doesn't really have to do a lot because of how the scoreboard sits. The main thing is you don't go dropping a big
They just don't
number.
want to. They just don't want to drop 3 or more.
Absolutely.
3 or more keeps Royal Oak in the set. 2 or 1, they've won the set.
So they can close them out. You know, with the way how the head's structured at present, certainly in favour of the Hastings Hornets have been able to literally close Royal Oak out of this set. It means the tiebreaker. Alex Jones playing with weight, trying to get onto the Pam Rowlands bowl, is going to do so. Well,
Goes into the ditch. So, see there, Teo Tuilua with that yellow marker. That's where the jack is, just below that yellow marker. See who's got the deepest bowl.
I think it's 1 to Royal Oak. This bowl is not going to make it from David Akaruru. Have a look in that camera angle in a moment. We'll be able to get an idea.
So, the jack in the ditch. Skip's now playing to the ditch. Try and pick up shots here. It is the Hastings power play, but for them, as long as they limit Royal Oak to 2 or 1, they'll be winning this second set and will be going to a tiebreaker end. So it's a pretty handy effort here from Dean Drummond, and that
That's
will
the
be
shot.
the shot. And you can see from that camera angle, the feet of Alex Jones, bottom right, jack in the ditch. I don't think he likes that. Teo Tuilua turns his back on it. That will be going into the ditch. And well wide as well, just ending up right in the limit of this rink. And I think Dean Drummond likes this one either, out of the hand. First was very good to grab a shot. How's this one? Might run into a bit of traffic. No, it sits on his first and promotes that, so that should, you'd think, make it 2.
Certainly nullifying the power play for Royal Oak to allow them to get back into the game. And of course, the most they can get is 1, it becomes 2, and it's just simply not enough numbers
Good
to.
effort.
It's going to sit
Teo
on the lip, and
Tuilua.
look at that.
And that will grab the shot. So score 1 to Rockets on the Hornets power play, but it's not going to be enough to keep them alive in this second set. So 9-1 it will be now. Hastings leading Royal Oak second set after 4 of the 5 ends. So both use their power play. So it means that there's No chance for Royal Oak to score the 8 they would need to stay alive and to draw this second set to win the match outright. We're going to be going to a tiebreaker, and now this is just a bit of a practice end.
It is a practice end, and I see the Hinuera New Plymouth game is come to a close.
I can only assume that Hinuera have won that, having won the first set, been 3-0 up, playing the last end. So now they wait to find out what happens at the end of the Parajacks game in Auckland. And I'll give you a score update of that one shortly. Hinuera have done all they can, and it looks like they are going to be getting through, because I think the Parajacks is calling their power play, and they lead 7-0 after 4 of 5 ends second set, having drawn the first. So unless Auckland are also calling their power play, they cannot get out of that situation, and the Parajacks will be going through 4 from 4, and Hinuera will be joining them at the expense of Auckland. Hinuera will jump Auckland Bowling Club on the table. Going into this round, Auckland had a +1 set differential. If they lose this, having drawn the first set, lose the second set, their set differential will go down to 0. Whereas Hinuera, who started -1, they won in straight sets, they'll be going to +1. And they will be jumping ahead of Auckland Bowling Club on the barest of margins set differential.
Certainly will be. A good comeback from Hinuera. They didn't get the best start yesterday.
Yeah, lost the Parajacks first up in straight sets, did Hinuera. Then they had the bye. Then they lost to Timaru as well. The only win that Timaru had at these Bowls3Five Interclub finals. But then they kept themselves alive with a straight sets win over Auckland in round 4 last night, and then what looks like relatively straightforward straight sets win over New Plymouth. So looking good for Hinuera.
Just amazing how things can change quickly, as we've seen. Auckland were looking, and could still be, but Auckland were looking very, very much in a good spot. But as you say, that Parajacks score at present certainly looks as though it's an impossible for Auckland to make their way through.
Well, we saw Auckland, didn't we, in our coverage yesterday. First up, they had that win over Timaru in their opening game, and then they beat New Plymouth in round 2, so they were 2 from 2. But then after a bye in the third round, they had that loss to Hinuera, and now it looks like a defeat to the Parajacks as well.
Alex Jones trying to get to the jack after Philly Akaruru with her first bowl. You'll see drew right inside the jack. Not that it's going to help Royal Oak in this particular last end, the 15 to the second set, because there's no way they can score the 9 shots. We're certainly going to a tie break, which it's got a lot on it, the tie break end. Superb bowl there we just saw from brother David Akaruru, drawn right on top. Alex Jones will try and get that split on those counting bowls. Jones just endeavouring to reach up through the 2 bowls. Needs to come back towards the centre line now. Not going to. Certainly had the weight to get the split on those bowls. More than likely could well be 3 shots, Brenton, that Royal Oak are holding.
Yeah, certainly 2, isn't it? And I think Royal Oak would be wishing this was the tiebreaker and
yes,
not the 5th and final end of the second set.
But again, it comes back to that first bowl when Philly Akaruru drew literally right on top, and that's really what it comes. It just makes such a big difference.
And for once, Pam Rowlands didn't get one within our target circle. She's been very consistent. You mentioned it in commentary. She's been very good off the front for Hastings and got the better of Philly Akaruru. Philly delivering here in the 5th and final end of what is very much a dead rubber 5th and final end of the second set. Hastings are going to win the second set, just by how much, and we will be going to a tiebreaker end to decide this contest. Just reminding you, Hastings, if they win, they're in the semi-finals. They will be joining Nelson Bowling Club, who are already confirmed from Section 1. If they lose, then all of a sudden the Rockets are in the running, and as are Takapuna and Tylee, who are playing each other. Also here, their game is currently Tylee leading in the second set over Takapuna 4-2 after 3 of 5 ends after Takapuna won the first set.
Well, if you take those 3 teams, Hastings, Takapuna and Tylee, they're all sitting on nil net sets. So
we could come down this shot differential here, and just looking at it, Hastings is not very good going into this round, but they've improved obviously today with 9-1 second set as it currently stands. Takapuna have the shot differential. If it does come down to that, with net sets all being level going into this one, and there's a chance that net sets may stay the same if,
Could well do.
if we go to tiebreakers in both games. So 2 confirmed for
Another small.
Royal Oak. So 9-3 should finish. Might be important, these scores as well.
Absolutely.
Think about shot differential. So we're into a tie break now to decide this contest. Royal Oak took the first set, 5-4. Hastings take the second, we believe 9-3.
So now with Royal Oak taking the mat first.
So they've won the toss, or well, they've at least, the toss has been decided, and I think they have the mat, so they will dictate the length, and they're going to play to the deepest mark, so which has been the trend for both of
it has.
These sides for the majority. Mat all the way up at the third and highest mark, and so the deepest of the 3 positions. The jack spotted.
So here now for both of these leads can make such a bearing on the outcome of this tie-break in. And there's a good opening bowl here from Philly Akaruru, just going to fall outside the circle. We saw in the last end draw right on top of the jack, and that's certainly now what Pam Rowlands will be endeavouring to do, just to give you that good start for the players coming behind you on the head.
Who's going to be the
Drummond's
first into
keen
the
on this. Looks as though it's
circle.
short and under the line though.
Urging that on was Drummond. It's just beat the Philly Akaruru bowl, but really it's about who gets first into that circle. Philly will be determined to do it here.
Philly Akaruru will need to change their hand, which is duly done on the forehand now. As Brendan said, the jack sitting right down on the furthest most circle, and this bowl just going to go by with weight now outside the circle. So Pam Rowlands now has got half a metre to draw to the jack.
Hastings are reminding you, if they win, they're in the semi-finals. If they lose, they are sweating on the other result, and it all comes down to set differential and shot differential. Royal Oak will then be coming
Good
into
bowl
the
here
running.
though from Rowlands, just sits outside the jack. That's certainly the shot.
And well played again. What we've come to expect from Pam Rowlands in this match, being very good off the front for Hastings Hornets. Now needing a response here from Rockets number 2, David Akaruru. Is Teo Turua not going to get it? It's going to come up short.
It's under the head by a good couple of metres. Yeah, Alex Jones makes sure he draws outside the jack. Doesn't want to give anything for the Royal Oak side. We've seen Teo Turua, who's used the bowls on a couple of occasions to move the jack around or move the shot bowls around. Certainly don't want to be doing that. This is on a good line. This bowl of Jones's has the weight as it goes by. Will come back and he won't be too concerned about that. It's over the head, and big improvement needed here from David Akaruru with his last bowl of this match. Short with his first. Looks to be on a better line here though.
Teo Turua wanting something to work with here.
This is a better line, this bowl. It still hasn't got the weight, doesn't get to the circle.
Oh, knocked on a great line, didn't it? But it finishes a metre short of where
metre.
they were wanting it to finish.
Now the important thing here for the Hastings side is on the draw they stay outside that blue bowl. So we've seen the change of hand, and the option of course here to turn that bowl of Pam Rowlands is into the head, and they're not playing in towards any of the opposition bowls to move them closer to the head. So on his forehand is Alex Jones. Looks tight.
Game is finished up against Auckland. We can assume Parajacks held on to win that. So Parajacks and Henueta coming through from Section 2. Who's going to emerge from Section 1? Nelson already confirmed. Are Hastings going to join them, or Royal Oak going to have a chance? Or is it going to be Tylee or Takapuna, who are also still in action? Their game in the 5th and final end, second set. Takapuna won the first, Tylee leading 4-3 in the second.
So
It's all coming down to the last few bowls of these games to decide the semi-finalists here at the Bowls3Five Interclub Finals.
So we could see a tie-break as well between Takapuna and
Exactly.
Tairi be part of the decision for that particular section. And here Hastings holding the shot. And this is the tie-break. And Teo Turua, as we've seen earlier on, especially in the first set on ends 4 and 5, where he changed things around. Is it too wide, this bowl? Trying to draw all the way back towards the centre line. A good attempt, but won't do so. Needs to be inside the circle to be a chance.
Taking a long look at this Dean Drummond before he makes his way to the mat.
I think his best shot option really is Brendan playing down to the Pam Rowlands bowl, which is lower the jack. He could turn that bowl over, but of course he doesn't want to give a shoulder for anything, so as Teo Turua can then attack, because if you look, Royal Oak is sitting with the deepest bowl on the rink, so if he is attacked and the jack goes back, certainly in favour there of Royal Oak.
Yeah, so that may be the better option to play, put some cover in, because they are holding shot. They only need one.
And he's
got a tiebreaker.
And of course he's got to, Teo Turua has to draw the shot.
We'll see what Dean Drummond has worked out, what he wants to do. Alex Jones has had a little look at the head as well, a bit up the green. See what he's come up with here. Dean
Big
Drummond.
thing playing on that backhand, needs to make sure, and he's on the wide side, on the safe side, not going to...
Looks like he is playing for that cover that we spoke about, to try and get the deeper bowl of Turua is to play with weight, but too much weight doesn't stay up. So that remains an option for Turua, who's understandably going to take his time over his final bowl and is going to make his way to the head.
Well,
discussion now with David Akaruru.
If you look at it, Brendan, from his position, needing to score the one shot, doesn't matter which way it goes, it's very difficult to draw the shot, and I just wonder, with having the strength of a weighted shot, which he does do, and having the deepest bowl sitting right underneath the number. Now, if you look at where the jack is, it's literally on a straight line to the number. So if there's a chance for him to play through to the jack with weight, got the real advantage of either getting the shot bowl or getting the jack right back towards the... And of course, it's the advantage of playing on the furthest most circle if you want to get some movement towards the jack.
And towards the ditch, so we'll see. Teo Turua is able to come up with here. He is playing with weight. Teo Turua
looking for the jack. Got the
front.
front.
Spit out the side, so it's going to be is it spat out the side? Maybe just. I think it's just spat out the side. It's going to be respotted in the middle, and that's where Hastings have it, and they win the tiebreaker end. So Hastings, another tiebreaker end victory. All 4 of their games have gone to an extra end. They've won 3 of them, and congratulations, Bowls Hastings. You are through to the semi-finals of the Bowls3Five Interclub Finals, joining Nelson Bowling Club from Section 1. We understand it's the Parajacks and believe it's the Hinuera Heat from Section 2, but we'll confirm that shortly. But right now, big congratulations to Hastings, who have taken it out 1-0 on a tie-breaker end after it finished a set apiece.
Certainly was a great finisher, Brendan, with that tie break, and we saw, of course, the drive from Teo Turua endeavouring to get the jack to get the jack cleanly into the ditch. Couldn't do so, and giving Hastings the Hastings Hornets the win and a spot in the semi-finals. And as Brendan said, from Section 1, they were now drawing Nelson, who had a bye in that round. We know that the Parajacks, we're pretty sure that the Parajacks are through, which made sure that Auckland didn't go through. And Hinuera, of course, beat New Plymouth. And we say that Hinuera Heat have got through. Now, Brendan Van Nistelrooy has got the winning skip, the Hastings Hornets skip. Dean Drummond now, and he's with Brendan Van Nistelrooy.
Indeed, I do have Dean Drummond, the skip of Bowls Hastings, who are through the Bowls3Five Interclub Finals. And Dean, you don't do it the easy way. 4 tiebreaker end games, but you won 3 of them. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's right. We got the W in the end, but 4 tie breaks are not easy on the heart.
Talk us through that one. What were you thinking when Teo Turua? You knew he was going to play with the weight and just basically wondering where the jack was going to end up.
Yeah, so I tried to throw one around the back with my first one, but ended up in the drink. So it was just a case of hoping that he didn't quite get the result he was after. And lucky enough, we snuck through.
Theo played some big bowls at the end of that first set to grab the first set, but you guys really took control off the front. Pam playing superbly in particular.
Yeah, those last 2 ends of that first set, Theo was unbelievable down there and back down there, just won the set really. And then, like you say, yeah, Pam definitely come on and just started nailing it. And those first 2 ends were huge for us in that second set. Picking up 2 fours, we just allowed us to play the board after that.
And now it gets you through that final 4, 1 game away from a place in Bowls3Five on Sky Sport. What's the plan to get the job done this morning?
Well, hopefully stay out of a tie break. That's the first plan. I guess put them close and hope for the best.
Well, all the best for that semi-final against whoever it is that you are playing, and we look to maybe see you in that semi-final and the final to come.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
It's Dean Drummond, the skip of the Hastings Hornets, who are through to the Bowls3Five Interclub semi-finals here at the Nine Eye Bowling Club in Lower Hutt. We'll be back very shortly with semi-final action to find out who are the 2 sides going through to Bowls3Five on Sky Sport.
Today we're making you friends. We're building a community, and we're still doing all the things we love. We're getting the most out of every day. One day we'll rest, but not today.